Hello again, stamping friends. So today I'm going to make another project from the Cactus Medley stamp set. And today we're going to make a nice little, I call it a Mercy chocolate box. Anyways, you can easily fit 3 Mercy chocolates, and you can also fit a gift card in there. So it's always good for a little pick-me-up, especially if somebody's not having a great day or whatever, because life can get kind of prickly, and this would be a nice little pick-me-up for these people. Anyways, so here we go. So in your kit, you got this cactus, depending, some of you had more purplish colors, more, some of the calypso coral, or even not even any color, but it's cut out from DSP. So I also added a piece of a white cactus, so that you can glue them together. So these are 2 pieces, the DSP and the cactus, stuck together, glued together. So we have to do that because this is going to be your box closure, right? So if it was just DSP, it wouldn't be strong enough to hold the lid of the box. So start by doing that. So put glue, on your cactus, the DSP, and then glue it on top of the white cardstock. All right. And then once you've done that, we'll put that aside, and hopefully it'll be nice and dry when we're ready to use it, because it'll be one of the last things that we do with this, to do this box. Okay, so in your kit you have the DSP, so we'll put that aside. But what we'll do now is we'll prepare the cardstock, so to make the box. So in order to make a 3D, when it's a 3D project as a box, it's very important that you burnish all your score lines to make sure that the box gets put together very easily, and that the corners are nice and crisp, so that it looks like a box, not like a rounded corners. So we have to make sure that, so that you have 2 score lines on each side that you have to burnish really well. Okay. I think my camera view is not high, it's not big enough for me to do it vertically, so I have to do it horizontally. So on both sides, so this is the other side. And there's another little one. Burnish that. Okay. It also permits us, the burnishing also permits us to see where we have to cut. Now there's also two score lines on each end that you also have to burnish. So here's the first one. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's a second one. Oops. And on the other side, 2 other score lines to burnish. It's more easy for me to burnish with my right hand. All right, so we've burnished on, there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 score lines that we got to burnish. So now we're ready to prepare the box. So the way it goes is that if you look at your box, there's a bunch of rectangles. So if you look at this top part, all right, there's 2 rectangles and there's 2 little rectangles. On the other side, there's the 2 long rectangles and 2 little ones. At the bottom, you've got 2 long rectangles and 2 small ones, 2 long ones and 2 small ones. And what we have to do now is to remove all of those rectangles. So start with one side. Okay. So first score line, second score line. So you cut right up to the second score line. Okay. Then you turn, cut right up to the second score line. So you remove this whole piece. Okay. That's no good. You don't need it anymore. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Up to the second score line. And you get rid of it because we won't be needing it. So now you turn your box around, and we have to do the same thing with the bottom. So second score line in, cut right up to the second score line, turn it over, cut to the second score line, remove, discard, do the same thing on the other side, cut, the second score line, turn, cut again on the second score line in, right up to the second score line, discard. So all you're left is with this. Okay, so if you notice on your box, you've got the rectangle that's on one side is longer than the other one. So the long one is going to be the part that goes up your line, and the smaller one, okay, which is going to be your flap, which is going to be your box closure. So on this small one, if you want, you don't have to, you can choose to round the corners. So the two top corners. So on the smaller, okay, the smaller rectangle than the bottom one. Okay, so the smaller one, this is where you're going to round the corners. I'm using the corner trio corner punch, I think it's called. Okay, and then on the other side, make sure you line up, that it's really well inserted. Press. So now you've got the rounded corners. The other thing too that makes the box really nice is if you round these corners right here, in the same area, on the same side as the ones that you've already rounded, the small corner. So what I do is I fold it on the second score line back. Okay. Then you put this part in the corner rounder. Make sure it's well lined up. Okay, in the corner. Press. Then you've rounded this corner. You can do the same thing. Just flip it over. Doesn't matter if this is on top. Just as long as it's well lined up on both sides. Round the corner. There you go. Okay, so that's it for the corner rounding for the cardboard, the cardstock. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to put the box, no, we don't want to put the box together right away. So what we want to do now is we want to, this is the way the box is going to go, okay? So now what we want to do is we want to add the DSP, okay? So of course, if it's a DSP that has direction, you have to be careful on how you put your DSP. So if I look, this is the top part of my box, okay? It's rounded. So you've got a small, medium, and large. I say large. I think it's longer, okay? So small, medium, and large. The small one will go on your lid, okay? So you take it and you want to put glue behind it and glue it. But if you've chosen to round the corners, well, you're going to have to round these two corners here, okay? So since I've rounded my corners, I'm going to round the two bottom corners. The other side. Now I'm ready to put the glue. Okay, so Tombow glue is my glue of choice. I mean, you can use Stampin' Seal, or you can use whatever you have on hand. I mean, you can even use glue dots if you want. Okay, so this has to go on the lid. Okay, so it's going this way. So there we go. Okay. Okay. All right. So now I've got the lid. Geez, I really cut that too short, didn't I? Oh well, we're going to pretend it's up to here because I'm pretty sure your pieces are okay. I have had to do a second one, so. All right. So I think this one's wider. Yeah, for some reason this one's wider. I don't know why this one's shorter. Anyways. All right. So, oh, and this one's too long. I don't know how to measure anymore. All right. So I'll have to cut it a little bit. So this was 2 1/2, so I would do it 2 3/8, or is it 4? No, 1 2 3 4. No, so 2 1/2. So I want to put it 1/8, so I'll put it 1 2 3 3/8, 2 3/8. So I'll cut it at 2 3/8. 1, 2, 3. All right, now it should fit. So I'll put that. Put this on. Make sure it's in the right direction, right? All right. So put it here. All right. So now I've got the front part. Now I'm going to do the back part. Hopefully this one was big enough. Oh yeah, that one's perfect. I don't know what happened with that on the other pieces. Okay, so I put glue on the DSP. Add it to the back. Make sure that I'm putting it the right way. The hearts are going the right way on these cacti, I should say. Okay. Oops. All right. All right. Okay. If you have something that you can put in there, it makes it much easier. I mean, I know a stamp pad is too big, but what helped me is putting the chocolate, but I'll show you how you can still do it. So what you want to do is you don't want to put the glue on this part because this part doesn't go all the way up. So you can use either tear and tape or Tombow glue, but make sure you stay on the sides, okay, on both sides. Okay, so now it's ready to go on. Okay, so make sure that you line it up on the side. Okay, this one too. So maybe push it up. Make sure you push it up. Okay. I usually use my bone folder and push. Okay, so that helps. You can even bend this back and put your bone folder and press so that it glues, the glue stays. All right, so there you go. So we basically have our box done. All right, whoops. Okay. So now we have to decorate it. And we're going to bring back our piece that is going to be our box closure. Okay, so I like to use dimensionals, but the one thing you have to be careful is that when you're putting your dimensionals, you don't want to put some over here and you don't want to put any on this part. But as you can see, there's a little bit of a part here that's kind of not on the lid. So I want to put a little dimensional that's sort of like in the crease here. So I'll put a little dimension, not too high, okay? Then I'll put a lot of other dimensionals because this part is going to be moving quite often, okay? Because you're going to be using it to open and close the box. So you want to make sure that it's nice and solid. So take off the backing. Oh no, I didn't take it off. Okay, so close your box, okay? So you want to make sure that you close your box and that your dimensionals, your little dimensional that you put in the crack does not touch the lid. So you put it on and you make sure that it's going to keep the lid closed. So there we go. We've got the lid closed. The dimensional is not blocking the lid, and you can just close it. All right. So now we're going to add the string to decorate it. So some nice linen thread, some calypso coral linen thread that came with the medley, with the Flowering Cactus Medley. So I like to leave like quite a long piece here to make sure that I can tie it and put a bow. So I hold it, okay, and I'm going to wrap it 3 times. 2, 3. Oh, maybe I did more. Oh yeah, I did more than 3. Okay, so now it's 3. Okay, so here's a little tip. So I'm going to tie a knot, okay? But I find sometimes, as I'm trying to tie the knot, it'll move and it'll loosen up or whatever. So my tip is, of course, to take a glue dot. Okay, so what I like to do is to roll it. so that I kind of roll it, and then I go and insert it right where I'm going to put the strings. So what I do is I put it on, so I tighten, okay, and then I just press down with my finger, with my nail, okay, or my finger, okay. So now this is not going to move. So you can either choose to make a bow right away, or I like to make another knot to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere when I'm trying to tie my bow. Okay, so now it's going to go this way. So I'm going to put it behind the cactus. Okay, so when you want to make a nice bow, usually if you want your bow, you know, your loops to go sideways, this side, so what you do is you put your 2 strings up and down, and then what you do is you grab this one, the one string that's at the bottom, and you make your first loop with that bottom string, and then you take the other string that's on top and you bring it in the front, and then you sort of pass it in the hole here, okay, in the hole. You grab it on the other side, you push it with your thumb, then you just close it, and then you put your finger in the middle, and this is where you control so that your loops won't twist, okay. So you put it on, okay, and usually you always have a nice bow, okay. So you can decide to either leave your string long or you can cut it. I'm going to cut it because I think it's too long. There you go. So now you have your bow, and you can sort of like play along with the string and, you know, place your bow so that it's nice and straight. All right. And then you're ready. No, you're not quite ready. So we still have to put the sentiment. Okay. So I chose, of course, life can get kind of prickly, and I'm using Pear Pizzazz because that's one of the coordinating colors with this medley. Okay, one of the greens. They also have Mossy Meadow as a I'm going to use this little pad here to help me, because when it's a photopolymer, it's always better to have a little pad to put. Oops, sorry, I just knocked on the, I'm going to have to stand up here, and hopefully I'll get it on right. Oh, that's kind of crooked. Oh, it's a good thing that it has 2 sides. So, all right, let's try to get it better this time. I'm going to take off. Nope. I need to be closer. There, I hope this is going to be straighter. I hope. Yes, it is. It's a little bit high, but I think the little letters, the L's and the R's, are kind of low, so I think I'll call that acceptable. All right. So now we're going to put the sentiment here. So on either side, there's room to put 2 little dimensionals. So I'll put little dimensionals. Okay. If you don't have big dimension, you don't have little dimensionals, you can always cut dimensionals in 2, or you can just choose to put a little bit of glue in the middle and then just glue it that way. It doesn't really have to be, you don't really have to use the dimensionals if you don't have them. Sorry, I'm off camera view there. I'm having trouble with my little dimensionals. All right. So I put it on the side here. So my dimensionals are on either side. That way they won't touch the cactus. There we go. Okay. So now all we need to do now is to embellish the with the nice little felt flowers that come with the medley. So we're going to put a big flower right here. All right, right here. And put a little one right here. I think I got a little bit too much glue, but I think it dries clear, so that's okay. So I wouldn't touch it for a little bit. So here is our box. And of course, I want to be careful. I can put the gift card, you know, And the Mercy chocolate. I like the gold. It makes it prettier, I think. Don't you think? I mean, it's upside down, but, you know. Oh, no, the Mercy is actually at the top. All right, so there you go. So there's our box for the Mercy chocolates. Have a great day.